Joe Siracusa. He's a professor of security and diplomacy at Curtin University. He's in Melbourne, Australia. Hi there, Joe. Always great to get your take on this. Now, we've got two internally divided parties here, Republicans, Democrats. I'm going to start with the Republicans. How do they bridge the divide that's taking place within their own party?
Well, I think the Republicans are still pretty much united behind Donald Trump. They haven't been so divided the last 4 years. This idea that they took a beating from the Democrats, that's not correct. The Democrats failed very badly on this one. It was the burden of the Democrats to prove that the president had incited insurrection. They could not mount that burden of proof, and they were found. The president was found not guilty. Now, several senators voted on the other side. 3 of those senators are retiring. 3 of them have just received long terms. They've just won their elections. It's 6 years in the Senate, so they're not too worried about around the corner. And of course, people are talking about Senator Mitch McConnell's dressing down the president, saying that there was no jurisdiction to prosecute the president. On the other hand, he said he was practically and morally responsible. Well, that doesn't mean too much at the end of the day. And Mitch McConnell is no longer the majority leader. He's the minority leader, and he'll be lucky to hold on. What I'm amazed at is that Trump got off scot-free. He's still in charge of the Republican Party. And the consensus in the United States is that the 2024 nomination is for the president to take if he wants it.
Well, when we look at Donald Trump's reaction to the impeachment and being acquitted, which, I mean, most of us expected that would actually happen, his statements still spoke about continuing the quest to make America great again. So what do you think we'll be seeing from him in the future?
Well, I think he's going to work very hard to turn the House of Representatives around. The Democrats have a 10-member lead in the House of Democrats. So in 2022, he'll be working very hard to get the right candidates and to defeat the Democrats, and that's possible. And let me tell you, if the Republicans take control of the House in 2022, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to impeach Hillary Clinton, because even though she's out of office, because that's now the precedent. The Democrats have done a very silly thing here. They're starting to prosecute people who are out of office, and I'd bet anything on it that they're going to go after Hillary to embarrass the Democratic Party. So, and then he'll work very hard in 2024. If the president's health stays good, he'll run and he might win. And if his health isn't good, he'll anoint the next person. Might be Mike Pompeo, who I think is a bad choice. His daughter might be vice presidential candidate, but there's no doubt about it. Donald Trump is in charge of the party, and he got off scot-free.
Well, when we look at the impeachment trial as a whole, who do you think the biggest winners were from that trial?
Well, I think the big winners here is Trump's lawyers. They did a pretty good job. A lot of the mainstream press said they did a terrible job and they were on the back foot and all that. But look, they pointed out the grounds. They said that the Democrats didn't have the jurisdiction right. They didn't have the indictment correct. They didn't have the burden of proof in the same place and where it was supposed to be. All they had to do was to point out to people that the burden of proof rested entirely with the Democratic House managers. And the president didn't have to do anything. So I thought his team did pretty well, even though they're not getting any kudos for this. On the other hand, the losing team says they've won because they have judged Trump at the in the court of public opinion. Well, who cares about the court of public opinion? That doesn't mean very much. So at the end of the day, I think Trump was served well. I think the party held together. I expected 4 or 5 people to vote with the other side. 1 or 2 people I didn't count on voted for the other side. When they say a record number voted with the president, against the president, there have only been 4 of these things, these impeachments. And 2 of them have gone absolutely nowhere. So there's not much of a historical record here to compare them with. But at the end of the day, Washington is as divided as it has been for the past 20 years. So the divide gets greater and greater. And so now America's waiting to see if, now that this is off the table, that Joe Biden and deliver the coronavirus relief bill.
The divide gets greater and U.S. politics never a dull moment. Thank you so much, Joe Siracusa.